Johnson. The list goes on and on and on. But I mean, those are the first ones that come to my mind.
When did you start playing the guitar?
When did I start? I was 15 when I really decided that this was going to be what I wanted to do, you know, and I wouldn't recommend it. It's too much work. I mean, my hands are deformed because of it. See that?
Actually, when you look at Keith Richards' hands, he's got an extraordinarily deformed hand, hasn't he? Absolutely.
This hand is like a web, yeah. And this hand is, yeah. So your hands just take on a different, you know. If you're serious about it, they do. Anyway.
What's been the highlight of your career so far?
This. Today, right here. Who else is there?
Have you had any injuries on stage? No.
Injuries? No, but I've seen.
Didn't you actually
seen-
fall once? You were wearing heels like this big.
Yeah. But I fell a lot, but no real injuries. I mean, but I had a bass player that knocked himself unconscious. And you know, I'm up there, I'm doing my thing, and every night I would just hear boo, and I'm like, what the hell? And he's literally just like that with the bass open. He had slipped back because somebody threw roses that were wet on the stage, right? And he slipped, and the back of his head hit the deck, and I'll never forget it because I was like, "Are you all right?" He's like, "Oh shit!" You know, just for like a split second, like 3 or 4 or 5 seconds of oh no, have I just lost a bass player? He's dead. But yeah, so that was an injury. Another time we were playing in Hawaii. I remember we were playing in Hawaii, small venue, sprinklers on the roof of the stage. So the monitor's about this high. You'd never think you could hit your head on a sprinkler, really. I mean, it's really high. You can't touch it. Well, one of the band members did, threw himself off the monitors, hit himself on the side of the head here, into the crowd, whipped him to hospital. 7 or 8 stitches. A big bald spot in the back of his head.
Oh, yeah.
Me, luckily, no. Just the injuries that I'd have to say would be more... just if I don't warm up, or if it's cold, or if I'm not like in the space, then I'll have like just cramps and difficulty in terms of just not preparing for. It's an athletic sport to a sense, you know. You don't just automatically jump in the parallel bars without doing a little bit of warming up first, you know.
Yeah.
So what else? Who else is left?
Where's the strangest place you've ever played?
Oh, in a tree. I played in a tree. There was this venue where they built the stage inside this massive tree. Like a branch here, branch over there. But it was a great stage. It was in a tree there. It was in a tree. Yes?
What's the longest you've ever had your hair?
To my arse. To my arse. Yeah, I've worn it all different styles. Tried to change it up for each album or whatever I feel like. You know. I just cut my hair really short once and dyed it white. Big mistake. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Then I have to renew my driver's license. Again, big mistake. Is that you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
When you went over there, you didn't have a green card to start with, did you? So
No.
It must have been quite tough.
It was impossible because when my mother died young, I had no other family, so I had no money. So when I first got to the United States, I had $900. Well, to California, I had $900 to my name. I knew one person. So go figure. I couldn't call anybody and say, "Hey, listen, Mom or Dad, or I'm a little bit short of money. I've got nowhere to sleep tonight. My car just broke down." Or, So, yeah.
So how did it happen?
I was 13 years illegal. 13 years illegally, yeah. And I couldn't tour, which was a huge problem in terms of, becoming a world touring musician, because I was If John Lennon can't get a green card, my chances are really bad. But luckily, I am originally Irish, so I had an Irish passport. And they came up with this revolutionary way of how to bring in new Americans through a lottery system, right? So they were able to select certain countries that would, and benefit the United States. And one of them was Ireland. So I won that lottery, and luckily was able to get my legalization through fluke of all things. Yeah.
When did that happen?
So I was 28 when I was 28 when I could actually become an American, So it was really hard up until that. So yeah, it was a rough road, really, at the very beginning, because not having any money and then not literally roughing it, and but always just believing that I one day will have a great catalogue of music, and that's all I care about.
So did you earn your money by playing in wherever you could to get whatever you could, or did you do other jobs?
No, and anything and everything. Yeah, at the beginning, it was just a matter of survival. There was no question as to of course I'd love to play, but at the very beginning it was literally I scrubbed toilets in the studio, delivered pizza, whatever it was at the very beginning, So, but I just believed that I was doing something that one day I would be proud of, and one day that I would, achieve whatever it was I was trying to achieve. I would achieve it. But as long as I just kept making music, that was really all that mattered.
Where did you learn business skills, or have you got somebody who you can trust who actually does the business side of things?
I honestly, the business. When you talk about the business of music, the music business, I consider myself skillless in that department. But because that's representing myself, and I'm not a very good person at, hyping my own. Does that make sense? I like to think I'm humble a little bit, I like to go out and say, hey, guess what? Hey, you know what? This is the best song ever. I'm not really that kind of guy, so I'd rather just be in the background and I'm more of a recording artist than a music business personality. But in terms of my skills in the business end of music, that has really just become a matter of survival in certain areas. You just have to realize that, wow, I just got ripped off. Like the first time I got ripped off, $7.4 million, that was a painful experience. And that could have been avoided if my intuitive business sense was more finely tuned. And unfortunately it wasn't. I was very green and I got screwed. So,
how did it happen? What was it?
I was in a band that we got a record contract, and unfortunately one of the band members was doing drugs and not showing up, and made a crucial, fatal error of not showing up to a very important thing called a record signing. Yeah. So if I had a contract with him within the band, then that would have never happened. But we never thought, oh, we need contracts internally, But really, we did, because it was a mess. Don't do drugs.
But do that business. do like a little bit of business about how to look after your arrangements.
Yeah. As soon as you see somebody doing a lot of drugs around you, if you're in a creative environment, straighten it out immediately. Don't rely on them.
And you still with the same record label?
Yeah, I started my own label, which has now, we just did a deal, 750 retail outlets for the label. So in terms of, I started it out literally out of a shoebox, so now it's moved into sort of more of like a dog box, slightly larger.
Do you take an interest in other people doing music in the sense of building up other musicians' careers? Or?
Yeah, I do. I produced about 120 records only because of the fact that somebody's asked me. I've never really gone after an artist. I haven't yet met an artist I've wanted to go after, being honest. Doesn't say a lot for the records I've produced, but if you ask me to produce your record, chances are I'll say, okay, I'll do it. You know, I may stop in for 15 minutes, but a day, but I'll help for sure. I'll tell you, whatever I can do to help, I'll do that.
Any more?
I've got a good question for you guys. Hey, what do you want to do?
I'm not actually sure.
You're not sure? How long have you been at Friendship?
Since nursery.
Really?
Wow.
Are you a boarder?
No, day student.
A day student. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, yeah, Hello, yeah, Emma, how about you?
Something art related.
Something what?
Art related.
Art related. Yeah. As in computer graphic art or as in just physical?
As in painting or like fashion design.
Mm-hmm. Well done.
Wonderful.
Well, I wanted to go into music, but it's a bit difficult. So photography.
Geography?
Photography.
Photography? Oh, yeah. No comment.
I'm looking at photojournalism in political field, third world countries, stuff like that.
Wow. Okay. Somebody that knows what they want to do. Interesting. How old are you?
I am 17.
17. That's a big bite. But
Yeah.
what
I'm
a
only
what a choice.
decided
Brilliant.
now, like it's a recent thing. Until now, I haven't really known what I'd like to do.
Now, what made you decide? Wait, I want to do this.
I don't know. I just put together all my different things I like about life and what I like doing. And decided that'd be quite interesting.
And
Political journalism.
You've moved into some interesting developing countries as well.
Yeah,
So
I've
you
been
do
looking-
have a background in Netherlands and Africa and all those.
Yeah. So I know a lot about it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a saying: stick to what you know, and if you've already got a head start, well then, well done, amazing.
Hannah, how about you?
Dying to find out more.
In the long run, I want to be an art teacher, but I want to do quite a lot of other things as well along the way. Once I go through uni, I want to do this stuff, variety stuff, all art related and graphic related. And I also want to work behind stage in drama and do like costume makeup.
Wow. So, what age of did you see yourself? Let's say 20 years from now. What age are you teaching?
In my 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but how old are your students?
GCSE level, so like middle school,
Mhm.
like year 7 up to year 11.
Well, that's interesting. It seems like both of you've got things sort of planned out there. That's good to see. Okay.
Gina.
I'm hopefully going to the music and entertainment industry.
Good luck. Are you really? In what area?
I'm not sure yet. I'm just sort of looking around at courses, and I was going to artist development, but it's kind of difficult to find a good course for that.
Very difficult to find a good course for that. Like what, in the record label end of things,
Yeah.
promotion end of things?
They like doing
Yeah.
something.
Well done. Okay.
Holly?
Like film post-production, so editing films, that kind of thing.
Really? Here's a good story for you. My sister married a guy from Texas. Weird. And he made commercials. His sister was an aspiring filmmaker. Anyway, they got married, and she made a movie. It was me in a wedding dress, dressed like my sister, and it was her with a moustache here and 2 moustaches here, because her brother is a unibrow. Okay, so she recently made a movie called Twilight.
There's a connection.
Yeah, my dad did Twilight as well.
What?
Yeah.
My sister-in-law is Catherine Hardwick.
Oh, okay. I think I might have met her.
You're
I
shitting.
did a lot of Twilight stuff as well.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I know.
We're a small world, eh?
Yeah.
Well, we meet the right kind of people at French.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Terrell.
Marketing and advertising.
Marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow. Okay. And does art play a part in that, you think?
Well, I was looking more on the consumer psychology side, so how you like manipulate people into like believing they want the product.
The Wow. Really?